My goal is to inspire you. Everybody. I want to even inspire myself. Why? Because I think that I'm a guy that gets it. What's it? I don't know what it is, but it's defined out there. Some people say I'm a marketing guy doing pizza. I just say I'm a pizza guy, doing a little bit of marketing. So now, with the theme being social media day, I would love to share with you my thoughts on how I define social media. To me, social media is a collage of tools that I use in addition to my core business plan. I'm a pizza guy, okay? So I want to sell pizza. I need to be able to sell pizza without social media, okay? So that I can put to practice what I believe that social media is an addition to. It's a tool, okay? Similar to the phone. Phone helps me sell pizza, makes it a lot easier than people having to come to the store. So the things that I want to share with you as I work on inspiring you is social media to me is just modern tools. Back in 2005, and I don't know when Yelp started, all right? But I like to say that this is something that I was doing even before Yelp. And this is the Northwestern Associated Student Government Restaurant Message Board in 2005. And what I wanted to do back then is what I'm doing now. Find a place where people are congregating. Find a place where people can talk about your brand. Find a place where people can get information about your brand. And find a place where I can respond to people. So in 2005, what was this? 2004, goes back 2000, 2005. This is what I was doing because this was the tools that was available. Back in 2005, and it mimics what I do now, we used to have these ads above the crossword puzzle. Notice how I would include a customer of the week, which to me could have almost been like a tweet of the week before Twitter was even invented. And I would allow somebody to put a quote on there. So in this case, Mark Austin, Domino's Pizza always takes care of my late night cravings. And then I would put, the store's information. In 2006, I would always list all the organizations that throughout the year we've helped. And the reason I would list that because I want to promote them. So if I could promote my customers just like I did student groups in 2005, 2006, and even way before that, as social media evolved, social media just made it easier to do that. I always want to figure out the way where I can keep the conversation alive. I want to keep people talking about Domino's Pizza. I want to keep people talking about the experience they're having at Domino's Pizza, independent of the tools. But God bless social media. So check this out. With the tools of social media, who once were students, they've now become our advocates. So that students that we were getting together with, what I call at the birth of Facebook at Northwestern, now that they've graduated and gone into professional careers, you get tweets like this: Ramon, I need to get you into Red Frog events to see The Office sometimes. So as students that I helped in the early days become professionals, they take me with them. They have allowed me to coin this in what I call social media can get you upstairs. Now, I ultimately want to sell pizza every single floor in this building and every single building, including this one, which is why we don't deliver here. And social media allows me to do that because my different advocates, some of them students, some of them customers, some of them employees, have allowed me to be able to use the tools of social media to reach people. Inspired check-ins. Foursquare's come along, and we've kind of built this tribe up where even when people are not at Domino's Pizza, in this case here, they're next door at CVS, waves to Domino's Pizza. So we have people thinking about Domino's through the tools of social media while they're not even there. Remember, my goal is to keep the conversation alive and have people thinking about Domino's Pizza. Here we have Leanne, Director of Social Media for Disney. I spoke at Disney a couple of months ago in Orlando, and I told them, don't be surprised if one of you one day, somewhere in the world, are going to pass by a Domino's Pizza store and are just going to want to take a picture and send it to me. It's going to happen. And I get these little chuckles, May 27th from Waterford, Ireland. Look where I'm at. It happens. Jamaica. Corvée from the Jamaican bloggers sends me a tweet after reading an article about me. Just watched your interview, great job. If you respond to this, I know you're good. I mean, I responded to it. Instead of just responding to it, using the tools of social media, I sent them a quick video and said, live from Chicago, Corvée, how are you? My goal is to make my Domino's pizza stores a tourist spot. So, now just imagine this. When people go on vacation to Montego Bay in Jamaica, and they run into Corvée, and they find out, and he finds out that somebody's from Chicago, what is he going to say? Do you know Al Capone? Do you know Michael Jordan? Or have you tried Domino's Pizza from Ramon? Okay? So that's the reason that I interact out there. Ted Rubin spoke at the 140 conference, and he's got this awesome video on ROI, return on relationships, and he nails the point when he talks about Jeff Pulver, saying how Jeff initially was a ham operator. And back then, with the ham operators, you're giving out your short name to see if anybody answers you. And when they do, you ultimately want to connect with that person regardless of where they are on the planet. And for me, that's extremely important in a town like Chicago because people visit Chicago. And this becomes almost free word of mouth for me. How about this one here? Almost in the middle of nowhere from Tom. Ramon, I was thinking of you a few days ago while on the Atlantic. So when you see something like this, I have to click on it. So his location was the middle of the Atlantic. Sure wish I could get a pizza, Ramon. Wow. Now, I want you to think of your own scenario, your own life, while maybe you're on a cruise, or in the middle of nowhere. What have you thought about? I mean, are you thinking about your barista? Are you thinking about the person that does your dry cleaning? The person that walks your dog or your doctor? I have customers and friends thinking about Domino's Pizza, thinking about me because they got to know the face behind the logo all over the world. So why do people do this? Pose this question to Marsha Collier, author of books online about customer service. She also leads customer service chat. She says, Ramon, you do such a great job. Wow was for the moment. You just keep them in an ongoing state of bliss. Maybe. I am inspired. I tell the world, be inspired and you will be in demand. People want to be around people that are inspired. People always ask, Ramon, is there ROI to all of this fun? I said, yes, there is. Ramon, what should you measure? Measure whatever is important to you. Like this one thing here. I have got to be one of the only people in the world that has a tweetable kiss from Liz Strauss during SouthCon. So I measure this. This is part of my ROI, delivering pizzas to SouthCon at 2 o'clock in the morning. So with social media, and this being social media day, so what's next? Do we look at these dark clouds like we have them outside, or do we look at the clear, beautiful day that's behind us? If we pay attention of what's going on with social media, you'll find some unique things like this. When Oprah went out with a bang at the United Center, traditional media was live tweeting her event. Now, when you break it down and you think about it, when social media was first coming on board and how much of a danger maybe social media was and all this online stuff to a traditional print paper, there's going to be a marriage. There's going to be a common ground where everybody's just going to get along. And I was kind of blown away a little bit by this. And the Sun-Times wasn't the only one to live tweet Oprah. Around the world, I tell people, don't be boring. We are all a brand. You don't be boring. I've stood in front of a corporation that has hotel chains around the world. There were people, if you looked at their titles in the audience, that had in common the letters S, the letters E, and the letters VP. Because that's how high up the people were in that audience. And I told them, don't be a brand that's boring. And I told Disney this a couple of months ago in Orlando. And I forgot the name of the hotel I was staying in, but from the room, laying down in the bed, you can see the Magic Kingdom, you can see the fireworks. And I told them, don't be a brand that's boring. And I said, this toilet paper is from my room. I gave the room number. I said, everything is really cool about your room, but your toilet paper is boring. You have to understand, when people walk into a hotel room, one of the first places they go to is this. So one of the first things they're going to see is that. Now, about a month ago, I was doing some more work with Disney, this time down in Anaheim, and I checked into my room. Lo and behold, somebody at Disney was paying attention to me when I told them, don't be a brand, that's boring, and I had toilet paper origami waiting for me. I showed them on Flickr, and I showed them how if they were to do a Google search for toilet paper origami, you will find so many streams with just dozens and hundreds and thousands of views. I told them, take advantage of this. This costs you absolutely nothing. So I go and I track down the person in housekeeping, and I asked them, I said, do you do this in every room and for everyone? She said, no, it was a special VIP request. I told her, well, thank you very much. It's appreciated. So what do I do with this toilet paper? I go to the ice bucket and I take out the piece of plastic paper and I put that inside, and I said, I'm taking this. And I called the concierge and I said, hey, room number XYZ, tell housekeeping they need an additional roll of toilet paper because I am taking this one with me. And I'm going to talk to the entire world about how toilet paper should not be boring. People love social media. Who doesn't? Who doesn't have something to do with social media that's here? Take a look at the F here. Take a look at the F on her arm, and take a look at this truck. Do those F's look the same? And the reason that a company would do that, because they know when we see that F, our eyes are just drawn to it. Okay? They could have put any F that was on there. They could have changed the font, put a capital letter, something. It would not draw our eyes. But when you make it look like a Facebook F, all of a sudden we have to look at it. All of a sudden somebody has to pass the camera to the passenger and say, hey, take a photo of this. That's why they do it. They're thinking. I kind of call it smart. Social media has changed the way we enjoy life. Seriously. When was the last time you looked at fireworks and didn't do that? You know, I mean, it's incredible. Pride parade. There were so many people with cameras, like, are you guys even watching the parade, or is everybody just documenting the parade? A major fight in Las Vegas. Manny Pacquiao was fighting against, I forgot his name. But if you paid attention, probably because the Mexican lost. But if you paid attention to the people at ringside, you see the iPhones, the Droids, the Blackberries, there to take photos. Now you would think if somebody has ringside seats to a fight as big as Manny Pacquiao in Las Vegas, you would probably have a better camera. And the reason they probably wanted their mobile camera so that they could share the fact that they were there now. Can't wait till tomorrow. Can't wait till I get back to the hotel. I need people to know that I am here right now. So definitely social media has changed the way. Whatever you're doing, make sure you modernize your plan. During Blog World Expo, I don't know, whatever, not too long ago in New York, I walk into the famous Carnegie Deli. Never been in there before, I had to try it. So it's pretty cool. They got this wall with all these famous people and actors, everybody with these nice, hey, great, thanks for the sandwich. And I called one of the management people and I said, you know what? I could see here you guys have a presence on Facebook and that. Why don't you take part of the wall and put tweets up there? Or put messages from your fans on Facebook, or photos of people, of everyday people that come here every day on there. And I think it was a little bit over his head, but the idea is modernize your plan and take advantage of it. 30-something years ago, now this isn't me 30 years ago, but this is what it was like if you've ever been to Niagara Falls. You know, you put a quarter into this machine that makes a noise, and it's just you and the falls. That's it. It's just you and the falls. What happens today? Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi on the bridge. FaceTime has changed the game. And you can share the fact that you are at the falls with anybody you want in the world. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to those opportunities. And that's what's going to set you apart from the pack. Like a case like this where you have a 2-year-old. A cousin of ours in Mexico just loves to call us every single day with my sister-in-law's iPhone and FaceTimes with my son or whoever answers the phone. And it's curious to see how he reacts with phone calls that are not via FaceTime. how boring they seem. Or how he grabs an iPod, and the iPod is an older generation, and you can't do FaceTime, and you see him just throw it. Now, I remember it being a big deal, saying, wow, we got a remote control on the TV. Kids today, forget it. You know? It's incredible. When you're using the tools of social media, don't be afraid not to say anything, okay? Only share when you have something to say, okay? It's not the quantity, it's the quality of what you say and how the person is going to receive the message that you have to share. I tell people that I am no different and no better than absolutely nobody here. The only difference is that I don't stare at strike three. You know, I might miss it once, I might miss it twice, but I am not watching strike three pass me up. And I you know what? And that's the whole thing. And it comes down to what I call paying attention. So if I have something to share with you, it would be this. It would be for you to kind of make a pledge to yourself. Now, I don't care if you hold your right hand up, your left hand up, put your hand around your heart, you just stand there with a dead stare and you look, or you talk to in your mind, or you hold your right foot. But make a promise to yourself, make a pledge to yourself that you are going to be the absolute best you that you can be when using these tools of social media. Why? Because you are an expert on you. If you think you don't know anything, you are an expert on you, and let the entire world know exactly who you are, what you like to do, what your passions are. Make a pledge, if you work with a brand, or if you are a brand, to please do not do this. Do not use these logos of social media as if they were the logos of American Express, Visa, and MasterCard. Okay? If you want people to thank you, if you want people to find you, if you want people to love you, do it right. You put the URL right there and tell us exactly where you want to be found. Why? Because we are too lazy to figure it out. Trust me. We're too lazy and we're too busy. Do it right, so kudos to Lane Bryant. When you're using the tools of social media, make a pledge to yourself to be realistic and to be truthful. Why? Because if you do the math, in this elevator, capacity of 3,500 pounds, that can hold 21 passengers, that's 167 pounds per person. You do not want to be in that elevator and have somebody not be truthful and not be realistic with regards to their weight. I was at Disney. I rode the Tower of Terror, which is the elevator that goes up and it makes the simulation of it falls. It's no fun. Okay, if it were for real. So make a pledge to yourself. Be realistic and truthful. You know, another thing, make a pledge to yourself is look to the sky because it's ever changing. We are in Chicago. The west side of the city doesn't look anything like the Loop right now because of how dark things are. I purposely left this page blank because I kind of wanted to see what it was that I was feeling right now. You know, what kind of vibes was I getting from you to see if there was anything I had in closing. And I guess not. But I really want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. Not saying that you didn't inspire. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's a lot of fun. I am honored and blessed with the recognition that you gave me. I speak all over the world on how I use the tools of social media, and whenever I'm there, I make it darn clear that I am from Chicago. Thank you very much. Out of here.